Hello everyone and welcome back to the CCL launch tournament here for MW2. We just got done with our lower semifinals and now of course we are moving into the lower final. This will be for who gets top 2 or top 3. Andy, we've had a very interesting day of yesterday as well as so far today. 3 1s, 3 0s, but now we got Full Sail going up against the Saints here, so this should be an excellent matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have asked to stretch North America even wider, right? I mean, you got St. Clair all the way at the top, you got Full Sail all the way down low. Effectively, it's going to be a fun one, to say the least, especially when you're thinking about the St. Clair roster, who, you know, albeit, yes, they did lose to Northwood to find themselves down here in an 0-3 fashion, yes, but this lower finals matchup is going to get incredibly interesting for you and I personally, Austin, because this is not the same St. Clair roster that we actually got to cast over yesterday. They actually do have their full roster. Seno and Bendy are now on in to play along with Brandon and Priestley, two of the breakout stars for the Saints roster yesterday.
That's right. So you have to imagine they're probably going to be feeling a little bit more comfortable today, but even with the subs that they had in yesterday, I mean, everything still felt like they were just absolutely flowing. We had already hit it on the top of broadcast, but when they played Northwood in that winner's final, like the first 2 maps were extremely close. And in fact, the Saints actually had control of that S&D 4-2 before kind of getting 1v2'd a couple scenarios and, you know, kind of giving up, you know, 4 rounds in a row. But for the most part, they had shown us some great signs of, hey, listen, we have practiced our strategies. We have come in prepped, and they really did look solid. So I think I'm really excited to see what they bring to the table with the full roster here today up against the Full Sail that is also looking fairly mighty.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we can sit here and gas up, you know, Priestley's ability with the M4. You can expect that to get matched over by, you guessed it, none other than Nick. And the same could be talked about, you know, with Brandon, with that SMG. You know, Brandon's going to be that roaming SMG presence to kind of go against what Meathead has been offering for this Full Sail roster this entire tournament. It's going to be awesome to fully see what Seno and Bendy do offer to the table. Specifically, we do end up getting to that map number 2 and potentially map number 5 for Search and Destroy. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Sir Nicholas out of Full Sail Armada is that he will probably pull out a boomstick.
Yes, and I mean, now it's just like we demand it, right? It's like every S&D is, let's see if Nick got it, right?
Yeah.
Because he just pulls out some ridiculous stuff. But let's take a look at the map set and see what we have in store for us for the lower final. And, well, we will be, in fact, kicking things off on Greenberg Hotel. We'll move over towards Mercado, and then we'll have Fortress, Crown Raceway, and then Ambassador as well to kind of finish us off in that map 5. And, of course, that boomstick you were talking about. We kind of hope maybe if there was ever a series to go map 5, before we get to the grand final, you'd hope it'd be this one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these two teams I feel are going to be so crazily competitive. I mean, honestly speaking, even if this is a 3-0 for either one of these two teams, it'll probably be a very competitive 3-0. I mean, Full Sail just got done winning both of their 2 hard points versus Texas A&M International University, you know, by a combined 8 points. So it's just going to be one of those things, again, you know, how quick is the turnover coming through for Full Sail to really start capitalizing on some of the things that you and I we're starting to notice and talking about this Full Sail team. They're slaying out, but they need a little bit more on the map when they are getting a lot of these kills. Fluff kills is the term that you like to use, and I'm going to steal that for the rest of the year. So sorry, not sorry. But, you know, on the opposite side, you know, St. Clair were more or less probably watching that entire matchup through the Twitch chat, whether it's through our Twitch chat or also Zuma for the watch party. Shout out the Zoom Mafia on that one. But you know, what's their turnover going to be looking like as well? Because it's something I talked about yesterday. We're all in the same facility. I'm sure Full Sail might be as well. For them to sit there, talk to each other, get each other in the right mindset for such a crucial matchup on the weekend.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see as well if we'll probably continue to see this 3-hour setup, which I imagine we will, probably on Hotel, at least for Full Sail, and whether that will be matched or not from the Saints. I have to imagine that they've kind of, you know, been watching over this, like you've been saying, and they're probably going to be prepped for it. So, you know, if they can kind of just at least stop Nick and, you know, LaBelle from finding these, you know, crazy 2 pieces over and over and over again, which seems to be just what they're always doing whenever we're on their POV, you have to imagine that maybe that's kind of the way to at least shut them down, trade out a little bit better, play a little bit tighter on setups, and really force them to work the objective. So we'll see if that does end up coming into play. But either way, at least between the two, both have incredible ARs. Brandon and Meathead are like the perfect matchup for each other, because we were watching Brandon yesterday, and I mean, he was dropping, I think, 14 kills on Ambassador, like S&D, just running around the map with dead silence, just finding these little windows, finding these little flanks. So it just feels like this team matches up really well against each other. when you mentioned, just the AR dominance that both have, as well as just a really strong playmaking sub player.
It's kind of funny, too. I'm sitting here smiling ear to ear because you and I got done watching some MMA last night. It feels like the tail of the tape between these two teams is just like, it's so even. Like, there's no reach advantage. There's no height advantage.
Right.
The weigh-in is perfect between these two teams. I'm just ready to watch them go at it, man, because especially, to push the narrative a little bit further, especially, you talked about that map number 1 being Greenberg Hotel. That's actually the one map that Full Sail did lose to Virginia Commonwealth yesterday, albeit they lost by 12 points. It's still staying on the record, and it kind of goes hand in hand with that same narrative that we're kind of spinning for this Full Sail team. They completely wiped the floor with VCU in that specific map set, and I mean, they outslayed them by a solid 15 or 20 kills. They still lost by 12 points. The time is now, if you are Full Sail, to really showcase what you do have. All fundamentals for Hardpoint need to be showcased right here, because Hotel can absolutely escape from you if you're facing off the full force that is this St. Clair Saints roster.
Yeah, it can be really punishing, just like with the restaurant hardpoint, the kitchen hardpoint. I mean, it can be really difficult to break. So if you're not finding those kind of impactful entry kills, I mean, it can be really difficult to really ever get in on the time. But what we do know is that this Full Sail team usually starts off hot. So it's just a matter of, will they be able to start off hot and kind of, keep that consistency going? Because it's not the first time we've seen this team kind of go up massively, have a good 60, 70 point lead. We're looking at a scoreline of 160 to 80, Andy. Then all of a sudden we're coming down to the final hills and it's 5 points, 3 points. How many single digits hard points have we had, watching this team? I want to say at least 3, right? When they've had at least a marginal lead. So you really have to wonder, are they going to be able to kind of clean up some of those mid-map, late kind of map rotations and really kind of clean up their setups, not getting too far ahead of themselves, right? It's really easy when you're massively up against the other team and you just start ego challenging, you start feeling good. You're we're just absolutely smoking these kids. But then you start taking, some of those over-aggressive plays and they start to punish you heavily for it and you stop collecting that.
Or it's even, to extend it as well. I feel like that's kind of like a double branch right there as well. They're outslaying them. They're feeling themselves a little bit as well. And then they continue to overextend and still win the gunfights as well. That's where those fluff kills really start coming into full effect for this Full Sail team. And again, for a map like Greenberg Hotel, I mean, if you're finding eliminations over by the Jacuzzi and it's currently P4, it doesn't matter. If anything, you're going to be spawning them closer for the rotation ahead of 5 anyway. So it's one of those things that, again, the fundamentals specifically for the ARs, as much as Lavelle and Nick continue to fry with an M4 in their hand, they do have to be very, very aware of their positioning on the map, making sure that they are completely surrounding the hard point rather than overextending to play for a spawn that is not required.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely necessary. I think we're just waiting on a couple players to get into the lobby here at the moment, so we do appreciate your patience here, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone trying to get prepped as possible, get amped up for this big matchup. I mean, again, those...
Oh, your VMix is gone. Well, I still hear Austin in my ears, so you know what? Everybody at home, I'm sure, is going to be extremely sad because I got to hear Austin there for a split second. I didn't even have to pay him his full day rate for it as well. It just music in my ears right there.
VMix froze me for a second. I hope it wasn't a bad phase, or else I'm probably never going to see that at the end. But here we go. Either way, I'm hearing our producer in the background going well, so we'll have to see. But I'm wondering if we can pull up the pricing here again so that we can kind of show you guys what these guys are currently playing for. At the moment, total of 5,000 that we do have up for grabs. First place, of course, 2,500. Second place, 1,250. And then the match that we currently are on board with is either going to be kind of guaranteed at 750 or 500. So overall, I mean, you really want to try to get up to second. It's a pretty big pay jump here if you're able to get to that grand final, Andy.
Yeah, the bronze match is what I like to call it right here. This is the difference whether or not you're going to be a T3 or a T2 team on the very day. So, I mean, hey, you win this match, you guarantee, $1,200. I mean, that's a pretty solid guarantee. You just have to win a best-of-5 map set against a formidable opponent for either St. Clair or Full Sail Armada. As we take a look at this bracket as well, just kind of give you the roadmap as well, where we are currently going through this entire lower bracket. Lots of 3-0s, but the ones that do stick out are those Map 5 rulers. The VCU Mars Hill one definitely sticks out as well. The Map 4 win that Full Sail were able to find over VCU yesterday. Then the 3-0 win versus UTC, I think, opened up a lot of eyes for what this Armada team is definitely offering for the entire year so far as collegiate action is concerned. And I think it just kind of really stamped itself with taking down Texas A&M International University the way that they did, being a very respectable opponent. But, I mean, hey, it's a double elimination bracket, Austin, and you know as well as I do, it doesn't exactly get easier the deeper you go.
No, it does not get easier, but when you start to catch a little fire down there in the lower bracket, you start getting, multiple wins under your belt. Sometimes you just start to flow with it and it just starts to come together. You start fixing those mistakes. Match after. Well, that's very likely what could be happening here. And I mean, that's also kind of the big factor that we haven't really talked about either, is that, hey, listen, Full Sail did just get kind of a good warm-up match. I mean, I'm sure, the Saints are over there shooting bots, maybe doing some 2v2s. Maybe they got a scrim beforehand as well. But there's nothing like playing an actual match, especially like two really tight hard points that are 3-point differentials, 5-point differentials going into your next one. Like, that still feels amazing. And you have to wonder, if that momentum, at least early, could very well play a factor.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it honestly could, right? I mean, we talk about, the multitude of different pillars that is competitive Call of Duty, and mental fortitude is absolutely one of them as well. You can even be going through those 3 maps, but it was a long 3 maps for Full Sail, barring that Search and Destroy that only lasted 9 rounds. And, that mental fortitude could also come through in a word that we like to use in Call of Duty called composure. So, I mean, so long as you can maintain composure and, say we're in the universe where St. Clair get the entire break speed out of them for this map number 1 by Full Sail, their composure needs to be on point ahead of the Mercado Search and Destroy, because you can never say that it's chalked. Truly, shout out to Major Maniac for the saying. And you just got to be able to bounce back fully no matter the adversity that's being thrown your way.
Certainly the case here for you guys. Well, Andy and I are, of course, just waiting to get in. We want to be in there just as much as you, so I know it's probably the cast starts out there. But I think that the players are having a little bit of trouble setting up the lobby. So I think for now, we're going to take a small break, ready to jump into it. We apologize about the wait. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. We're back, and we are just about ready to get into our lower final. I'm Visions. That's Proper. And, well, we just had a pretty solid map number, or rather series number 1 that had a couple really close hard points. We saw Full Sail. Now we'll see what they're going to be able to do up against the St. Clair Saints as we load into this map 180.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very fun. I will say that much. So strap yourself in, because, I mean, the M4 battle in between, whether it's Lavelle or Nick, could be both, versus Priestley is always going to be a fun one to be talking about and to be looking at as well. But the one that we are probably going to be keeping a very close eye on, I know you and your main sub Antics, Austin, are probably going to be keeping a very close eye on what Brandon versus Meathead has to offer.
Absolutely. Whatever you're going to be what to watch for, but so far still good here for the Saints, at least right off the bat. Priestley set up. He's sitting nice and pretty behind the bar heady, ready for any challenges, and, well, about to come his way. Looks like his sub Meathead able to get some good nades over the top, and Lavelle from the side with a good pinch will find 2. Might be able to get 3, and he does. Lavelle in 3 pieces at the start of the game. Name some other iconic duo here, Andy.
Yeah, very, very difficult for me to dig deep to tell you a more iconic duo than Map 1's and Lavelle dropping a 3-piece in P1 nonetheless. St. Clair actually got spawned up over by the restaurant side, and Full Sail completely read this. They deal with them in kind, but unbeknownst to them, they have actually, again, given closer spawns ahead of the rotation, but it might not mean too much so long as Full Sail can break this early.
Here we go. Meathead, 2 in a row. Doesn't want to take that challenge. Says, hey, guys, I need an AR here to help me with this. And, well, Nick will be shut down in the back, and it's actually going to be a second kill that comes through. Then we're good for at least a couple, and now that means Lavelle kind of just has to hold his position in the back, wait for his teammates who have spawned pretty far over by the restaurant as they set up their next attack.
Trying to set up a 3-pronged attack, trying to get players in towards the back and over through the reception area. It just does not work out at all. This is why you have to be very careful, and why I highlighted it for Full Sail. You need to come out of the gates bad out of hell, and you completely outslice St. Clair as far as P1 is concerned. You get 27 seconds, but you overextend. You gave them the close spawns for P2, and it set themselves up for a money hill. Now Priestley can soak up the back end of the scrap time, while the rest is the Saints from St. Clair push all the way through the parking garage.
Remember, this is Bendy now in as well. It looks like things have been a little bit more comfortable, at least thus far. Already up early. Brandon now the next one in. Stub, he's able to find 3! Brandon taking over the kitchen. He's the chef, and he takes down all 4! Brandon clears out everyone, and now St. Clair break in with ease.
Oh, the janitor has arrived, and his name is Brandon. He is shutting this kitchen down. 86, everything off the menu. Seno, Bendy also there. Brandon playing the cheeky angle underneath the countertop is now on 5 in a row. 1 more kill. Gonna get himself a cruise missile. Also zoning away on the backside of the jacuzzi is Priestley. Even going 1 for 1 right there is fine, because it's a lot of information for the Saints to be aware where they need to look for Full Sail's next attempt.
Oh my goodness, look at this zoning here. It's just been so beautiful. And Brandon is still 10 in 1 at the moment. He's looking to try to secure the second streak. He won't be able to get it, but, I mean, you feel like the damage has been done, and Tino's even going to put on a little bit more pressure. Rips Nick off the heady and manages to get in for the scrap time. That is just about a full hold here for the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, it's back-to-back almost full holds. I mean, Full Sail only got 3 seconds, Austin. 3 seconds. They were at 27 seconds going in towards P3, and the Saints, all off of an overextension that Full Sail had offered to St. Clair, gave them the close spawns for P2, and then they win the rotation going over towards 3, and you guessed it, they are currently battling and more or less winning the rotation going over towards 4, but Mystical, Lavelle, the ARs, Full Sail having a certain argument against this right now, trying to play the bar tops in this P4 hardpoint, need to hold on to bring them back into this game.
So, Andy, I think the Saints are warmed up. You know, we were wondering if they were going to be warm coming into this. I think they're pretty warm. Man, oh man, Bendy now trying to make something happen in and around the point. It will be cleared, and well, this is one of the better moments that we have seen, at least from Full Sail Armada. They have been able to lock in a solid amount of time, but the scrap time actually will be secured for the Saints, so they're still going to be pretty solid, pretty happy about that. As we move over to the restaurant, Lavelle trying to find the double, but Brandon shuts him down again. Yeah,
shuts him down. 12 and 4, triple positive for Brandon, and we are just getting in towards the 5th hardpoint in our very first set of hills. And very uncharacteristic, Nick, 6 and 10, does not check the upper right side of the pantry corner, and he's going to get gunned down. And you could really just see the pace differential that's currently being set up. I mean, Lavelle, Nick, Mystical, they're not winning these long-range duels, so Meathead can't go off on their own and find a lot of these influential kills that we've seen in previous Full Sail matches.
Brandon trying to keep the spree going again. Will be shut down. Mystical finally getting a little bit more involved here, and this is the turnaround you really needed to see from Full Sail. We're used to seeing this team kind of start off hot, but now they're starting to work themselves back in off these last 2 hills. Still, 30 seconds to play for. Saints want to try to put some pressure onto it. Little dolphin dive to get on the point. Mystical able to get at least one more, but will Meathead be able to finesse and kind of win this one-on-one versus Priestley? The support comes in from Sino. They're there, and the Saints will still make sure that not all of this time is going over to a Full Sail Armada.
145, and it's going to count all the way up to about 156, because if you're Full Sail, you have to chalk the scrap time. But again, look at how proactive the Saints are currently playing. They know that the scrap time is going to be conceded from Full Sail, so they send 2 players again, 3 players actually, excuse me, on the rotation to try to get into P6 early, and they're successful in doing so.
Saints set up, looking good. Mystical, first one to jump across. No immediate trade follows. Meathead going to wait for Lavelle to get into position, but everyone's going to try to break this from the front. Bendy's got a great little off angle here. Meathead tries to jump across to get the information, but the trades just are not coming in. Lavelle, what can he do? He's able to get himself one, but he can't really force his way into the hardpoint, and Priestley's there for the response. This is perfect hardpoint being displayed right now for the Saints. Trading beautifully. You get in for a second if you're Nick, but it doesn't matter. The close spawn is too good up until Meathead gets in the back.
Well, it's probably a good thing we don't have 7 hardpoints on Greenberg Hotel. Otherwise, the Saints would probably be threatening to be at the double century mark just already. 185 to 87, and they already break back in for the scrap time. Priestley is a menace. He's also on a 6 free. So now that's 2 first streaks that have been accrued for the Saints. One in the back pocket for Brandon, the other one in the back pocket for Priestley. The potential to get some more until they get gunned off screen. But going in towards the second set, it is a 100-point difference that Full Sail need to claw their way back from.
Well, this is where they got at least 1/3 of their points back on P1. So we'll see if they can try to replicate that. Meathead is starting to find some of these little windows of timing to put some pressure onto the ARs and stop them from getting set up. And you're going to need to continue to do that right now with the slang we have seen. But everyone now flooding through the restaurant area. Mystical able to go 1-for-1 at least before dropping. Meathead tries to get across, so a little bit of aggressive play will be punished. Lavelle up top tries to keep the play alive, but it is just him at the moment. Meanwhile, the Saints have just been so good at staying glued to the hardpoint time.
Couch control is everything when it comes down to P1 for a second set of rotations, and Full Sail are understanding that task quite wonderfully. Even battling for the scrap time, Brandon is just being annoying more than anything. He's not even trying to go for the time. He's just trying to keep Full Sail at bay, because St. Clair, with this leader's advantage that they've built for themselves, the over 200 points, they want to make sure that they maintain these P2 spawns. Finding this information where Full Sail is coming from is absolutely crucial to the success of this hill.
Big kill up close. You have to find a break, and you got to break very early here in the lobby. Priestley on 5. Also looking to maybe even overlap his streaks. Nick laying down, and oh, how about it? The TAC will be able to get the work done from just about far range. Stun over the top here. Priestley trying to earn the second streak, but he won't be able to do it. Meathead will be able to clean him up, and that will maybe allow entry for Full Sail to get in. Spawn still on the back, but at least control is here for Full Sail.
This spawn trap can get really, really nasty if Full Sail were just a little bit quicker to read where they were spawning in at. Team kills, Lavelle on a Nick, not going to necessarily help out the argument. And it seems like, again, I mean, Brandon Priestley, just annoying as they possibly can be, just the battle for the scrap time. I mean, there's still one player, Mystical, that spawns in for the old hill. This rotation for Full Sail is not at their full strength, especially with Bendy just locking it down to the back half wall.
Meathead now needs to become the chef. Let's see if he can do what Brandon did. I don't think they know he's here. Zeno actually is kind of slow peeking this, but he's not going to win the gunfight. Sub's going to be great up close. Bell now able to get into the back. What a read onto Bendy. That should lock in the spawns. Now you just got to get yourself into the hill, and you got to get through Brandon. He's back in the kitchen. He's looking at the heady. It's Lavelle that'll rip him off of it. Zeno, the last one really up to try to make a big play. Should be a trade, but no! Zeno turns and burns!
Oh, 21 and 15. Zeno is the sous chef to Brandon's head chefery that is here in the kitchen hardpoint. Nick just diving on in, just all willy-nilly, just sets up Meathead at least for the trade, but I mean, the Saints are still locked in towards this hardpoint. Austin, they have the close spawns. They can still win it here.
They could just stack this and win it here. Full Sail would have to break. Can they do it? Bendy runs out of ammo, goes to the reload, but that should just about do it. Meathead would have to break in and find everybody, and he is shut down as soon as he walks through the door. The Saints will match the slaying power. They will take the hard point in convincing fashion, and they start the series off 1-0.
I mean, you say match the slaying pressure. I say completely outdid the slaying pressure that was Full Sail, at least in previous series that we got to see from them. I mean, Lavelle, 14 and 19, comparatively to what we saw them drop numbers on in both the hard points versus the Dust Devils, stark differences. Nick, 14-24, he was a non-benefactor. The ARs for Full Sail were all just lost. And I don't say for a lack of trying. It's just, again, comparatively to what we've seen from Full Sail, just completely having their way by winning all these N4 battles, it allows, Meathead to be able to do their job that much easier. And the first set of hardpoints was quite alarming to fully see what this entire Full Sail squad looks like when they're actually pressured out, when they're losing those M4 battles. And they started off that P1 flawlessly, but what was the one major dent in the armor, Awesome? We talked about it before we have to the break, and we hit it one more time before we ended up hopping into this Greenberg Hotel map. They overextended. They won all of the initial battles, but they overextended in a restaurant, and they gave Full Sail the close spawns for P2. Or they gave St. Clair the spawns for P2, and then that just started a perpetual snowball that ended up being about 200 points after the end of the first set.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just an incredible snowball from P2 to P3 with Brandon just walking in there and literally four-piecing them up. A lot of big plays coming through, and you could see it every single player over 20 kills. And I mean, we're so used to seeing Full Sail, like everyone's, over 30, over 20, whatever it might be. And I mean, the slaying just was not really a factor here. We talked about Nick being one of the big players we've seen so far this weekend, only able to put up 14 kills, 1,800 damage. Certainly, a significant drop-off from some of the previous series, but everybody on this St. Clair roster just absolutely came out firing.
Yeah, I mean, look at St. Clair and all their stats. I mean, everybody just resting about like 2,600 damage, if not a little bit more. I mean, Brandon should be ashamed of himself. He kind of slowed down there throughout the tail end of that hard point. 22 and 15 for Brandon. That 6-3 was crucial. I mean, even Priestley as well. A minute and 41 seconds worth of OBJ time inside of a lot of these hills. 22 and 13. 6 objective kills as well, but also just look at the flexibility that's coming through from Bendy, Brandon, and Seno, who were constantly setting themselves up early inside the hard point. They had a combined 31 objective kills. That is a stark difference comparatively to what it is on the opposite side for Full Sail Armada. The only one that really sticks out is Mystical, their OBJ player, at a minute and 48 seconds worth of the hard point time. And so long as they're in the hill, well, 10 of their 16 eliminations did come inside of the objective, but it was not necessarily getting set up inside the hill. It was just getting across the map.
Yeah, those objective kills just really display just how selfless every single player is on this roster. And I think that is so critical, so important when you talk about Call of Duty 4v4. I mean, at the end of the day, we always love talking about the stats on who has the most kills, who has the best KD ratio, right? That's the flashy stuff. But what's really important is those objective kills. And when you see everybody having, 8+, it really shows that they're playing for the win, playing for the objective, and it just completely pays off for them on Hotel. So first map is good. They absolutely bring it to Full Sail. We see the full roster in action here for the Saints. And man, oh man, are they mighty and strong. But now we'll start to turn our attention over to Mercado, and we'll see how it plays out in Search and Destroy. Have not seen a ton of it so far this weekend. So it will be an interesting look with both of these squads coming into this map too, Andy.
I will tell you this much about Search and Destroy is that I'm sure Nick has a certain grudge on their hands, and that's that grudge is going to be coming by way of a sniper rifle against St. Clair. But we're also have to be keeping in mind that we have both Bendy and Seno in this roster now for the Saints. So I mean, the sniper rifle could totally be in play. And you remember watching St. Clair on Embassy actually yesterday. You know, they did really struggle to deal with the overall sniper presence, and they barely broke one out themselves with the two substitutes that they were playing with. So it's going to be telling to see if that same amount of pressure through the middle of the map will at least be mounted towards round wins when it comes down to full sale. They could absolutely use the bounce back, a little pep in their step if they can completely outslay and walk over St. Clair as far as Mercado Search and Destroy is concerned. But I will tell you this much, man. At AS&D site, you get control of that offensively. Good luck, have fun if you do not have the numbers to break up that Cantina setup.
Well, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 2, full sale, going to be up, or rather down by 1. Let's see what they're going to be able to kind of respond within the Search and Destroy. Able to get himself the trade kill right away, as we already got a huge battle down low. Lavelle trying to work an angle. Well, some players are going to be up top, but it's going to be Mystical who finds another.
Big kill. Seno down low. Going to keep numbers marginalized. You can see where that bomb is pancaked down on the ground. It just comes down to holding angles. Nice one from Mystical. They should know exactly where Seno's at.
And they'll be able to lock it in. Very first round, very dominating coming through. And I mean, that's kind of what you wanted to see from a full sale, able to bounce back like this, just not really giving anybody room to breathe in and around this house. And if you can start to get control of this house, I mean, it really does just set you up for this bomb site, or at least to take it away defensively as well. So first round looking solid.
I mean, you can even see with, like, the bomb not even being fully planted as well. You get control of that entire AS&D area. You just have to hold crossfires. You get the high ground as well. I don't have to tell you the outcome of Star Wars Episode 3, but the high ground is a very good place to find yourself. Seno was the only one to find himself some kills there for St. Clair in that previous attempt. We'll have to see what they look like for their offense, and don't be surprised, it's going to be a battle at A.
Battle at A. Let's see how this one unfolds. Oh, Nick's doing the little jump spot here. This is a nice little off angle. Usually you're never expecting it when he flies through the door like this, but Mystical again. He's been so great so far. 4 kills already to him. Door opens up. Nick's position will be given away. Let's see if he can try to work from it. Brandon down low will be challenged from Nick. He'll take him out. That's going to drop us into the 3v2.
Nick actually working with the 9K, getting up close and personal. Able to end up taking down Priestley. Going to force out Seno for a 1v2. I just had immediate flashbacks of the previous round. Seno in the same exact position, but full sale or not.
Nick does the jump spot again and basically kills him in the same spot again, more or less. So a little bit of deja vu indeed. Full sale Armada clearly showing us offense, defense. This house is theirs.
I'm not going to lie. My brain went through a whole different set of emotions. I was like, didn't we just watch this?
Were you playing around?
What just happened here? But yeah, I mean, hey, you already highlighted. I mean, Mystical is actually having himself a whale of a game so far. Had 4 eliminations to their name. Nick is also right there as well. I mean, hey, Meathead and Lavelle, you don't need to get any eliminations. You need to get some damage, because, I mean, Nick with this 9K has been absolutely electric, at least in that previous round, but swaps to the sniper for this.
Show us. Oh, look at the nades, eh? Oh, my goodness. Ow. Everybody gets forced back, and they will still try to cross a little bit late, so one player will be able to still get in here defensively. But glass being broken should be a sound cue for Mystical. And Nick, well, what does he do, Andy? He gets picks. That's just what he does, and he finds it again.
He has a pick machine, and now he's on a 5 spree. One more pick, and Nick will actually end up getting himself a cruise missile. 2 more. Get himself that SAE. Look at the rotation that's actually manifesting for full sale. They've actually loved that pick in the middle of the map. They're rotating over towards B, where Priest is located at.
Priestley's got a pretty important role here. And does not have dead silence. He has opted in for the trophy system. Be a little bit careful, and well, his teammate, I think, gets spotted over to the green, so I don't know if they're going to know Priestley's here. He could do this hop-up at any point in time to kind of look over the wall. See if he'll be able to work in an angle. 30 seconds left. Not easy to get this bomb down. A lot of open area. We'll see if they're going to be able to actually successfully do it.
Oh, Seno's going to find Nick, so the spree gets put to rest. Now you're going to be pinched up inside of this B courtyard. Still need to get bombed down.
Pinch in the back. You have to make a play. 13 seconds, and well, they might have waited too much. Lavelle would have to start to piece everyone up. He'll find the first, but the clock, of course, is a factor. One player will check, the other will run away. St. Clair play it perfectly, very disciplined, and don't give them any picks to work with here around the site.
Yeah, big round there at 3 for St. Clair Saints to be able to bounce themselves back and get themselves on the board, but a little bit more of a fumble, I will say, for Full Sail. It's like you said, I mean, they're hesitating once they ended up getting inside of 10 and over by this courtyard area. There were still a certain amount of tacticals that were still available for the side of Full Sail, and I'm just wondering why we didn't end up trying to check that back half wall. If not, you work that pick in the middle of the map that was so wonderfully found by Nick and the boomstick, but then you just need to try to hit a site. If you're not going to show presence over at A, you gave Full Sail, or you gave St. Clair, rather, ample opportunity to try to rotate over and set up a B.
I like this. I think player 7, Bendy, off screen, was kind of throwing some nades and stuns over, but player 3, also off screen from Nick, is going to kind of hit a fast flank. So they should know they're over at B. So a very similar situation to what we saw last round, except this time positions flipped. Zeno up top. Stun. Going to be good for Lavelle. Going to try to follow that up with a nade while Meathead kind of covers mid and waits to pounce if they try to move for this bomb, but it will get planted and they get out safely.
Nades being thrown on in. Need to find a lot of information, but look at this tin control that's coming through for St. Clair.
Oh, team nade comes through for Lavelle. Still a 2 versus 2. Lavelle and Mystical. Got to move in. Shot's going to be taken in the back. And they're not going to see him up top. It's rather down low in the corner. They're just tucked away with the off angle, and St. Clair get the bomb down safely, get out, and they play the post plant well enough.
And hey, you know, anything that Full Sail might attempt, St. Clair apparently can just do better. That's what a very fast hit over by B looks like. Why? Because here on Mercado Las Almas for Search and Destroy, more often you'll probably send more numbers over towards A because it is the easier of the 2 sites to try to take, and it's a little bit more desired for a lot more offensive teams. And St. Clair completely exploiting that, like you were talking about there with Bendy, who was just lobbing both their tactical and their nade over towards the planter box at A. Completely caught Full Sail off guard as they quick hit over towards B and got tin control immediately.
Demtex and Hades, I mean, it just feels like it's a death trap sometimes walking through that area off the bat. No one drops down. Could be a blood for Brandon, and it is. Quick kill onto Nick. Gets himself out. Zeno also able to get one. Mystical able to trade one back onto Bendy, but numbers advantage here for St. Clair.
They're all kind of trapped over here as well. I mean, you can see what Full Sail, both Mystical and Lavelle, are trying to play for. Trying to expect maybe a pick to come all the way through. They might have to force the issue. You still have 50 seconds left to play. You got to allocate about 5 seconds to make it happen.
Dead silence being popped. Moves being made. Gunfights being won. That's going to be a big one down low and off screen. Of course, St. Clair, they were able to get that quick trade up top. Numbers starting to at least work out for St. Clair, and they're now finding a response to this house or around this A push.
I love just the overall understanding coming through for St. Clair. It's very tough to be able to sit there and almost get hit by about 3 nades, but you do have to count how many nades you do end up seeing being lobbed over towards that bush box, right? Because if you count more than just a single nade, the chances of that being a Bay play are very, very slim, because that's how many resources Full Sail did offer to St. Clair when they were trying to assault that A bomb. So I love just that stationary play and waiting for the picks to come to them. That's 3 rounds on the bounce here for St. Clair. They'll have that 1-round lead.
Oh, and it's a first blood. Look at this. So the nades actually work out. Priestley will find Lavelle, big player to take out of the pitcher. And it's again back over to B, and Nick's just not ready for that kind of aggression. Just very, very decisive here in St. Clair. Now a trade will be there for Meathead. He'll bring it into at least a 3v2 on the retake.
Nobody's inside of 10. Meathead, that silence is about halfway running out, and yeah, I mean, the moment that just tries to get inside the courtyard, he just doesn't even check the first corner. Now, to be fair, that is a very shaded corner. I also struggle with seeing enemies over here, and Brandon just completely rips him asunder. But again, it's all off of that one nade. How many nades did they throw over towards A, Austin? Just that single nade from Priestley. It gets first blood, and then they immediately just hit over towards B. Very fast, no hesitation. Like you said, they are decisive on what they are looking for an offensive round, and the Saints are now extending their round count to 4 in a row.
I love it, man. I love decisive calls in S&D. Everyone stick to the game plan no matter what. That's working out for them. But back to A, we will go. And, well, Mystical kind of with a wide chow peek here. Nick's going to be able to find Zeno inside of the tunnel. That's a pretty critical player to remove. However, everybody is inside this house, so they are trapped in. They do not have a way out. They got to fight through.
Oh, Bendy's inside a barbershop. He doesn't have that silence, but he is solid snaking his way for this pinch play. And yeah, it's like I said, I mean, Full Sail, they're trapped here in AS&D.
Bomb will go down. That's the good news. Now you have to break this. If you're St. Clair, Bendy on the flank. Meathead might not spot him. He's got to a great position.
Wow.
And Bendy could break everything here. Lavelle not going to be ready for it, but he doesn't see him. He doesn't see him, and he will find Meathead. Tries to run in, but over the bar top, it will be good for Lavelle to get the trade, and now it all comes down to one, and Brandon will fall.
Yeah, again, hey, man, that's AS&D. You get that bomb down, you get Cantina control. It is very hard to retake that bomb site entirely. Trophy system's obviously in play. Your nades, your tacticals, not getting all the information where some of these players are located at. But that retake was 100% on the shoulders of Bendy being able to make that play happen. I was just on the edge of my seat. I mean, I was chewing fingernails off my fingernails, just wondering whether or not Bendy was going to go over towards the Cantina bar top and just maybe see a barrel sticking out from Lavelle in the bottom side of that building, but was not the case. Was only able to produce 1 kill off of a very nice crouch flank that came through from the barbershop. Full Sail, stop the bleeding. Keep this within 1.
Nades again come over the top, and it really does keep you guessing if you're Full Sail off the rip. Are they coming back to B? It's worked so many times. We have to start stacking it, and you can see it. Lavelle's inside Tin this time, but a nice little bait and switch here from Brandon's going to make sure he plays his life, and they now know he's in, and yeah, Lavelle, good luck in here, buddy. You're going to have to try to get a read, and it's so difficult to do. Bendy, oh, he runs out of ammo, or maybe he just opens up with 3. A couple trades go back and forth, and it puts us in the 3v2 yet again.
Bomb's still in the hands of Brandon. They don't have full control over towards this B site so long as Nick is inside of L. He's 1 player top 10. They're going to get stunned out, so that should be the call immediately. I got the stun. I got the information to get that bomb planted.
Bomb will go down. Brandon's going to exit safely. It won't happen. So Nick finds him. They have information on 1. It's a setup inside of Tin and in the back, kind of watching his side of this push in through mid. Mystical's got the dead silence. He's looking to set up the play. He's going to have to absolutely fry one with a pistol, but Zeno's just waiting for it. Great read. Now it comes down to Nick. 4 in a row for him. Drop shot comes in. Body hits the floor. And it's a double. Zeno inside.
Oh, up on that point are the Saints just answering back with everything that Full Sail is throwing at them. Their tin control, Austin, when they get that bomb down and they get full coverage over by the BS&D site, oh, you would have loved for maybe the bomb carrier to get out with his life, but he got the information that was required. Again, once you get inside of that BS&D, that bomb being planted, if your tin setup is as godlike as what the Saints have been showcasing so far, it is just, again, very, very difficult to retake. The shout out to the AS&D side who, yeah, you guessed it, Full Sail are attacking again.
Fast aggressive hit. I thought it was coming through. Just going to wait out the nade, actually, but the stun's going to lock him up. That is a great read here. Mystical's going to be able to finish off an easy kill on Deceno. But now Nick's trying to work angles up top, checking every single window for anyone that might be doing the hop-up. It won't be the case, but they have been able to at least gain a little bit of control.
You're down a player as well here. Even if you try to trap them in the AS&D, it did not work out in St. Clair's favor the last time around. I believe that was a sniper shot that came through from Priestley, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, that was a crackling sound, to say the least. St. Clair, they know that Full Sail are over here, but how do you try to retake this area of the map?
Oh, Brandon, he overchows. But it trades back and forth. 3v2 for Full Sail Armada. That bomb looks like it will go down. Bendy's just trying to bob and weave back and forth. The dead silence going to be popped. He's just going to try to hit the route. Meathead just doesn't really respond to the call out. So now it's a 2v2.
Meathead okay? Lavelle, pistol for Priestley. Not going to be able to get the kill. Yeah, I believe that Priestley did end up having a boomstick on that round specifically, but I just hope Meathead's okay. I wonder why he didn't respond to the player inside of tunnel. It was just weird. I mean, maybe I'll give the benefit of the doubt to Full Sail. You know, he obviously could have ended up moving back through the middle of the map, going over towards tree, maybe hitting back alley, but oh, it is what it is at the end of the day. Again, just barely keeping their heads above water are Full Sail at this current juncture of time. Nick has seemingly heated up, picking up the slack that Meathead is not able to find for themselves. Double positive is Nick. Sharing the legwork on the opposite side are the Saints, and there it is. The mental warfare is at an all-time high. It's an A-hit this time around.
Yeah, this time it is an A-hit. 2 Semtexes actually come over this time, so I wonder if they'll get a read on it. Nick, though, he'll be able to find an easy cleanup up top. Takes out Priestley. Important player to remove from the Saints roster here. Looks like it's going to be a smoke play. See if Bendy decides to push through, run through tunnel. He's got options. Just searching for info looks to be the play.
To Rave. Smoke will dissipate. Bendy just is kind of forced to play this position. No dead silence. Does not want to push up that much further. Not in a 3v4.
Bendy He needs to find this kill. Meathead is just going to rely on Nick to kind of watch his back while he watches this cross right to the bushes. But you can see it. Great little observing happening right now as both players are just so close to each other. But Nick throws the stun. He tries the challenge. He's punished for the play.
Oh, and then Meathead pounces from the bush box. End up getting the next kill. This round has completely fallen by the wayside, and the Saints probably sitting there just throwing their hands in the air. Oh, we should have hit B one more time, but Nick for that first. He's got 3 to his name, 12 and 5, 2 in this round. And yeah, I mean, Brandon is just trapped, does not want to feed any potential streaks that could end up coming through, though it is very unlikely because it is going to be a round 11 here for map number 2.
Round 11 between Full Sail Armada and St. Clair Saints. This has just been a beautiful match here in S&D so far, going back and forth between these two, throwing their curveballs in, trying to throw their strats in, whatever it might be. But here we go. Let's see who's on the attack.
This is going to get very interesting, and it's going to be the Saints on offense. Now, you would assume after the fumble that was that A assault, surely they don't try it again, right? They're actually going to split the map. 2-2 split.
Bomb is coming over. They do throw 2 Semtexes over just like last time here. But look at player 3 off screen right now. Nick is just hitting a fast flank. He is not falling for this play. But inside up top, it's Brandon that's able to find the first elimination. And Priestley also finds Nick pushing through. It's all to Mystical and Meathead.
Oh, it's all gone wrong. I mean, timing might be in the favor for Meathead. He's 2 and 7 now, but he needs to come alive in this round.
Meathead stunned up. Oh, he snaps on Bendy. That is just ridiculous. And there is still a chance now for Full Sail. Brandon, Priestley, and Seno need to try to drop this bomb. They gotta get it down safely, and Mystical just evened it up. It's now a 2v2.
Priestley can make the play, but he's got attack 56, so up close gunfights, knowing that Meathead has a Vaznev 9K on the opposite side of this, might not be super comfortable. Brandon, Dead Silence play. He sees the ankles of Mystical. Dead Silence is slowly running out. He's going to get that pick, and now he's just going to full sprint over towards A. They remember that Meathead is over inside the warehouse, so this bomb should be able to go down for free.
Meathead almost has Dead Silence. But is he going to find this kill in the back? Because the bomb will go down at A. Meathead just needs to maybe wait a couple seconds to kind of make this play happen. He's got the sub. If he can get inside, he can make this work.
Hitting that extra second. Dead Silence about to be online. You have to fly. It takes just a little over 7 seconds to get the entire defuse. Both these players, top and bottom cantina.
Watch out, Brandon. Oh, I don't know if you have time to really wrap all the way around. Brandon's going to, or rather Meathead's going to have to go all the way and just kind of hit this quick. He doesn't have information on the second. Now he does. He's pinned. Not in a great spot here. Time dwindling down. The stun's going to lock him up and stop the regen. And that is going to do it. The Saints will make sure they don't throw away any kind of a 4v2 as much as it gets a little bit close. They're still going to get the job done here in round 11.
Oh, yeah, it definitely got close there, buddy. That was a little weird once we got inside 10. I mean, Meathead had the utmost perfect timing, completely sneaks right past Priestley's line of sight. And they were trying to maneuver towards the back tree, maybe over towards the taco truck, perhaps. But regardless of the matter, I mean, you really got to tip it to Brandon. This is why we talked about this individual as far as an SMG player is concerned. For the Saints out of St. Clair, just for the simple fact, gets Dead Silence, actually pops it over by the BS&D site, wraps all the way around over by the defensive spawn, and gets behind Mystical. That pick was everything because they had the previous information where Meathead got that last kill on the snap over by the warehouse. You could just rotate over towards A, win this 2v1, just play on top of each other, make sure that we're in a tradable position. Easy peasy, I suppose, for the St. Clair Saints, taking a 2-0 lead in the series.
Man, these two playing each other very close in that S&D, but yeah, just those little moments, right? I thought for a second when Meathead gets that snap in the back, just ridiculous kill, something special is going to happen. But just a heads-up call, Brandon doing what he needs to do, play for that win, and, well, we'll take another look at the scoreboard. Nick kind of doing what he always does at S&D. We just expect double digits, I think, from him whenever we're watching over him at this point. But pretty much even, I'd say, across the board. There's no individual performance kind of standing out, just kind of like the map one that we just saw, Andy, for the Saints.
Yeah, I think that there's one player, at least for me personally, that does stick out just by name alone was Priestley. I mean, Priestley, you saw them pick up, did an M4 round, a few M4 rounds, TAC-56 rounds, also picked up the sniper rifle as well. I mean, Priestley is really showing his flexible chops, and it really does open up the floodgates for the possibilities for what Brandon, Bendy, and Senna are able to find across the entirety of the map. But again, it also has to come through with the amount of assists that Full Sail were able to find for themselves. Even in the 5 rounds that they did win, just everybody really just coming alive when it comes down to finding damage. Those team shots, obviously as crucial as they may be, when it came down to their A assaults, Full Sail were almost undoubtable so long as they were able to get to the cantina.
Pretty notable. I mean, St. Clair as well, getting 4 bomb plants down throughout that S&D map. So, I mean, just about any time they're attacking a site, they're getting that bomb down to the playing post setup, which is not exactly always the case. Full Sail kind of maybe waiting too long in some of those situations where they had a first blood, ended up costing them. But now it's Full Sail that are unfortunately looking down the barrel of 0-2. Once again, we have to call for this reverse sweep if they're going to survive and manage to make it up into that grand final. But for now, they get to take a chance, kind of just regain for a moment, get ready for that next map. And well, we are too, as we're going to be able to throw to a short break when we come back at number 3. Welcome back, everybody, to the CCL launch tournament here in MW2. We have had a very spicy series right now in this lower final here between St. Clair and overall, it feels like in this situation right now, Andy, we are in a spot where Full Sail are going to have to pull off a reverse sweep, win this map number 3, 4, and 5, get it to another S&D. And if we look over anything that happened kind of in that first map, it feels like the fundamentals were lacking a little bit compared to what we got out of St. Clair.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's your best of 5 map set while we talk over this point that both Austin and I were kind of jesting over in the digital green room while we were setting ourselves up for this Fortress map number 3 on Hardpoint, is that when you go back and you dissect that 250 to 143 loss on Greenberg Hotel, P1 was great. Off the rip, the gunfights were fine for Full Sail Armada, but fundamentally, completely outmatched. When it came down to the rotations, the setups, and understanding where everybody needed to be at that certain moment of time. Now, all of that said, not to totally contradict myself, but we are going to Albagra Fortress, where on this very map mode combination, one named Meathead feels right at home. And you and I were kind of going back and forth. We were kind of talking about Hixie in the green room as well. and your SMGs do need to be on point when it comes down to Fortress. And Meathead was able to exemplify that to a very high degree, albeit they only beat Texas A&M International University by a total of 5 points. Meathead was pivotal to their success in that map 3 win.
Absolutely he was. I mean, it just felt like he was just in the zone. He was just running around, dead silence, just kill after kill, and I think he dropped like close to 30. So when your sub's creating that much space in and around the map for you, it sets you up really good. So we'll see if they can deliver. 0-2 down is Full Sail Armada. Let's see if they can bounce back.
Everybody calling for the reverse sweep, but they need to start here. Nick getting first blooded is never good. Lovell finding an early engagement. No one was surprised. Top single is a pretty good spot to be at, but it's all garnered for the Armada out of Full Sail. They have complete coverage of the middle of the map, trying to get themselves some early time.
Nick, yeah, just wanted the dolphin dive, and dolphin dives away himself. Able to get the safety for a very quick moment, but St. Clair ready to pounce and move back into the point. Nick just waiting for that regen here as he's shooting for some toes, but will be contested. Still very much kind of looking at this PT rotation. Well, a lot of this time is just going to be fought over, but a lot of this time is going to be bought, and I mean, that is going to draw all of the pressure over and kind of leave Lavelle here all alone. Luckily, no one is kind of in P2 just yet here on the side of St. Clair. Yeah,
I mean, the Armada just completely capitalizing off of the Saints, kind of jostling for position, just figuring out, do we hit P1 again? Do we try to get arc control? And for all of that that jostle for positioning, the Armada have completely hit through the double archway. Now they're in for P2.
Bell here trying to lock in the tunnel, but he'll get help from Nick, who pulls out a sub and is able to get up close and personal, finds that double up, and now Full Sail starting to actually run away with a bit of a lead. You see those spawns, they are very deep, all the way by P3 before they set up their next attack.
Yeah, and it honestly might have to be chalked. I mean, if you try to hit this one more time, then you're not going to have those closer spawns for P3. P3 is easily one of the biggest money hills that we do have on this map, so long as you can get the setups, and the Armada are more than aware of that. That is their strongest hill throughout the entirety of this tournament. The Saints trying to move past the stables, little to no avail. I mean, Brandon might have themselves a very unique pinch all the way down low. It actually has a TAC-56 and an SMG to play with. So those are great rotational gunfights while you're also setting up Priestley just outside of the double arches to maybe find a couple exits ahead of this rotation of 3.
I know a lot of people might be worried right now, like, oh my goodness, 69-8 at the moment, but this P3 hill, you can lock in 60, and, well, it is required for the Saints to do exactly that. And they've been able to at least shut down a lot of those sprees here for Full Sail, but let's see how they decide to break this down where they're going to try to attack from. If you can at least get someone off the hill, that is a great start.
Watching top maps, watching the stables push as well. Armada, they fully understand this needs to be happening at the same time. Nick's going to get spotted out. Priestley is also able to find one over by stables. And yeah, I mean, this is just such an indomitable setup. I believe that we're currently witnessing, because Brandon did pick up a TAC 56, that the Saints on this setup right now, Austin, have 2 TAC 56s watching everybody from the Armada walk in.
Oh, but they're able to at least get him off the time for a quick moment, up until Bendy gets in from behind. One more player to deal with inside and around the point. That's going to be Meathead, who's been able to actually buy a lot of his time. So I feel like all things considered, it's still a very solid hill here for the Saints, but Full Sail do what they need to try to get him off the time as much as possible.
Yeah, you know, you only allow just about 36 points to come through rather than the full 60 that the potential for the Saints to be able to get off of P3. And also by doing so, you're keeping the Saints trapped, spawning in over by P3. And where does that mean that Armada are spawning in at? Well, essentially right on P4 where they're set up inside of Art.
We go with Priestley over by the side in P2. Tough gunfight to take, especially when the trophy system is set up. So Priestley's going to have to re-aim his attack, and Brandon's going to be working up top in the meantime. Has to cut through Nick, no problem. First one is good. Now runs right to the back here to maybe open up this hard point. Finds Meathead with the help of Priestley. Tries to move in for the third. Will be able to get them off the time. Saints break in for a moment, but still a 50-50 battle for control.
50-50 battle, still down by 50 points. This 20 seconds could be big for the Saints' level of success. They know that they're probably going to be conceding those close forged spawns, but still getting yourself closer towards the 100-point mark that Full Sail is resting around is just about everything. And you also have at least Brandon. You can see them on the mini-map over by P2 on that stage, just making sure that there's no flank potential to come all the way through, because they know, just as much as you and I do, Austin, this Full Sail Armada team will never stray away from overextending.
No, they will not. We'll try to take away as much as they can constantly. Meathead, though, we said we needed to see something from him, and he's going to be able to put up 10 very early on here in the first set of rotations. Meathead trying to take full control up top, but will be traded out. Priestley gets in there for the trade. Meanwhile, the setup still looking good. Position still great with the ARs, but Priestley doing a good job of slowly breaking them down and dismantling it.
Already got 20 seconds in towards the bank, but the nades are on point. The trophy systems were dealt with. They were not tucked inside the corner. Priestley, Brandon combined for 3. You know exactly where it's coming from. Through the bottom side of maps as well, the middle of the map. Brandon can only do well to find 1. Meathead will find 2 before they're traded out via a Semtex. But again, this is a double-edged sword if you are St. Clair Saints. You want to make sure you get this time, but you have to deny Full Sail from soaking up the scrap.
You absolutely do. I mean, this is just great time, and Penny snaps on a couple up top. But you look at the fast track to do. Meathead is here first. Posted up inside the back of the truck. Just needs the support to watch in and around him. No trophy systems really down just yet, but Bendy's now on 5 in a row. And in this position, it's just absolutely godlike on this map. You have to remove him. Mystical says, I will. But now, next one in. Still got double setup right now from St. Clair. How are they going to be able to hold this? You know, just trying to put out some shots here alongside Brandon. They're doing a good job just bobbing and weaving, but Lavelle moves in. He'll clear him out. Right back in the time is Full Sail.
There's just no immediate help for Seno on the hard point right there. I mean, you did have player number 5. That's Brandon trying to zone away the middle of the map, but they actually get top maps control, and albeit a great position to have for yourself, you're not generating time. And this lead now for Full Sail, halfway through P1 in the second set, have extended their lead just a little bit more. You need everything in the tank if you are St. Clair Saints. They are at least sending players to maybe battle for some scrap, but that might come back to bite them in the rear, because you see player number 4 on the minimap. Nick is already in towards the back. He's not fully blocking the spawns yet, but that could be a crucial position that the Saints need to deal with.
Yeah, this is sometimes a problem when you get this far ahead, right? Or this far behind, rather, is that you don't really get to kind of keep track of everyone. You're so focused on the old time, getting them off of it, and that's when Nick gets to pounce like this for 3 in a row. He waits patiently, and that will pay off massively as Nick's now in the back, looking to try to build the streak up a little bit more.
A little bit of a missed call coming through from the Saints. I mean, obviously, nuances aside, you had one player that actually spawned in towards the stables, actually where Nick just spawned in at. So you should be more than aware, hey, we got players that are all the way in the backside of the stage trying to threaten these spawns for P2. 35 seconds remaining. The Saints need a break.
Need a break. Have to get this time. This back 30 is huge, and how about it? A 4 down comes through. The spawns, of course, will be located in P3 here for Full Sail. But Tino, he might have a chance to be able to make a massive individual play. Dead silence pop, trying to work through.
Oh, Nick's on the head glitch. Oh, I just can't even see it. I mean, even if Nick's in a ghillie suit, it's just so hard to be able to see that head glitch. Bendy needs to get this kill. That could potentially start the snowball. That is going to be the break. But you see where all of the Saints are spawning in at. I mean, essentially in Bufu, they are nowhere near the potential for them to break inside this hard point. So Bendy just needs to concede the space. Tries to at least find that kill on a meathead. Luckily enough, will be traded out. But Full Sail have the setup here at 3.
Can't let this go too long. Priestley just tries to dive across, maybe create some kind of bait and switch play, but once again, it's 4 that go down. Meathead comes in from behind, and that will be a full wipe. Once again, the Saints, you're asking for some kind of a break because they're running out of time.
Yeah, they are running out of time, and this is Full Sail's best hardpoint to generate time off of. We saw full 60s back-to-back in sets of hardpoints here on Albagra Fortress from the Armada of Full Sail. Here comes the late attempt coming through from the Saints. They really need this to come all the way through, but Meathead rips 2 asunder, and yeah, you dealt with Lavelle on the point, but it might just be too late. 204 points in the bank for the Armada. The Saints just narrowly behind. They need to piece something together now.
They absolutely do. Down by about 80 points. If they can get some of the scrap, maybe it'll be a little bit closer, but no, they're so interested in just moving across the map together. We need to get them off the time. We need to get a setup in place. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it. Spawns actually, I believe, just came through with the back for Priestley, so this is a pretty solid start, at least for the Saints, but Meathead is always behind enemy lines, and they have no control inside just yet.
Oh, they don't. You really need to be able to win these battles, and the collapse is just that much better coming through from Full Sail. They recognize you got players in towards the back, and Lovel's starting to piece the drop shot onto Bendy. Will keep their flank secure. Brandon top rails needs to go big, though. The break needs to be on. You got 30 seconds remaining inside this hard point, and you really need to get all of this time if you are the Saints, but there's just simply no help because it's all getting cut down through the middle of the map.
Brandon rains down from above. The Saints are in, but for how long? Full Sail, they could absolutely sacrifice a rotation if they want to play for this time, but instead they want to take a little bit of a safer route. Meanwhile, Priestley was trying to make some map movements. Will be shut down. So once again, the St. Clair keeping themselves in this game. Just about 30 points needed here for Full Sail, and this is one of their best hills. We're going to P5, Andy.
Oh man, Mystical had no business taking down Bendy, playing that anvil head glitch over the top single window. But still, first kills are going to be good. Brandon has to play this position knowing damn well that Meathead is up top because he just killed his teammate of Bendy. But again, when the Saints are trying to maneuver through the middle of the map, they're all getting cut down by these longer lines of sight.
Brandon up close, 4 in a row. Needs to break. Brandon almost finds 3 to completely blow the hill open. It doesn't end up coming through. And now Seno, you need to almost ask the same for him, just maybe on this cross, but Priestley's going to deliver himself, finds 2, then awaits the pounce, able to find 1 up close. The Saints are still very much alive here, and this back 30 is so important.
If there's any single map that's in the hardpoint rotation for us, Austin, it is Albagra Fortress. The comebacks can absolutely happen. You can turn any hill into a money hill, but you got to make sure that your setups are good. Wrong corner to peek there if you are Nick.
Ooh.
Bendy lines up 2 at the end of P5, and also look for the spawns for the Saints as well. They have the better side of the map going in towards a 3rd and final set of rotations, but you need to find this kill on the Mystical. Massive. Now you can get on the hardpoint if you are Seno and zone away the middle of the map.
Still a pretty big lead, and I don't want to speak it into existence, but Full Sail, they have a bit of a habit of throwing away massive leads. We'll see if they can hold on, or if St. Clair can battle back. Bendy right through the middle of the map, going to create more space, and now you're caught in a really bad position back here if you're Full Sail. You're on the opposite side of the map that you want to be on, and you have to battle out through gunfights.
You got to be careful with how far forward you do push if you are St. Clair. Staying on the hard point is fine, but pushing inside of maps will actually force Full Sail to spawn in for P2. So I love this discipline that's being exemplified by the Saints. They're holding the middle of the map. Full Sail are starting to crumble apart, and there it is right there. Seno's inside of maps. Look exactly where Nick spawns in for P2.
Oh, Nick just got an absolute god spawn. We'll see if it even matters because the kills are still coming through and Priestley might actually be able to earn some streaks. We're headed to P2. The spawns have flipped. St. Clair should know this. They have just spawned P3, but they're going to have to make their way in. It is 20 seconds needed, but we get the lead change. It's St. Clair that have it by 5.
And they're all trapped inside of maps right now as well. You are feeling right at home with this top hard position. If you are Nick watching players cross, you got to get onto your trainers. You got to sprint across the map if you are the Saints. You need this break now.
Either you hold and see a map 4 or you're going home. St. Clair got 1 attempt and 1 attempt at that. They can't see the heart of the hard point, and that's going to do it. Nobody gets a touch. And Full Sail Armada, they'll make sure they're not going to throw away this hard point. And we are, in fact, headed to a map 4.
That is the most classic ending of a Full Sail hardpoint win we have seen all weekend long. They were up by about 80, 85 points at one point, and this just ends within 14. I mean, say what you will. Yeah, Priestley came absolutely alive there at the end, 31 and 24 for them. Absolutely wild scenes, mostly doing that with attack rather than the M4, but even more so than that. I mean, the resurgence is so good for St. Clair there within that third set of hardpoints. The biggest issue, I highlighted it, I had sweat dripping down my back, man. I knew it was going to happen. Some kills start coming through. You want to get that jump up to get inside top maps and try to keep them trapped in there. That is the one building, Austin. It's the one building, if you're in possession of P1 and P2 spawns, you cannot go inside that building, St. Clair. And they just gifted Nick that spawn. He blocks it. He gets all of his teammates to spawn in. And that is just the recipe for success to winning that map number 3 and forcing a map 4.
Yeah, I'm sure that one certainly going to sting a little bit because St. Clair, I mean, you could feel it. It was in the air. Like you said, just push a step too far, flip out the spawn, squad spawns come in, everything changes. But we take a look back over the stats here, and well, Meathead, I mean, we said you have to look out for him on a map like this, and he's able to deliver. I mean, you'll never really catch him in the hill much, but you'll catch him running around the map, constantly sprinting, putting up 32 kills this time around, 22 of those, of course, non-traded. And on the other side, I mean, Andy, St. Clair, I mean, they were just great, consistent, pretty much across the board. Just started off a little bit slow there through that first set of rotations.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon was kind of tasked to meet the level of pressure that Meathead was bringing to this map number 3 on Albagra Fortress. And it's so much easier said than done, right? Because, I mean, you have Meathead, like you were talking about, he's just going rogue. I mean, he had 16 seconds worth of OBJ time. That is so little for an SMG, but it doesn't matter when your AAAR setup is being that much better and completely keeping all of St. Clair really at bay. That's the recipe that we talked about for Full Sail's map number 3 win, actually, versus Texas A&M International. That worked out so well for them because they're zoning away all these different lanes at such a quick moment's notice that you have no idea where Meathead's located at, and just before you know it, he's actually inside your building behind enemy lines.
Certainly the case, but we'll take a look back over the map set here to see how everything's played out and what we have coming up next. It was, of course, the first 2 maps over towards the Saints, but a nice little win here for Armada keeps themselves alive to see a Crown Raceway going into this map number 4 here, Andy.
Yeah, Crown Raceway, map number 4, the potential final map in this series, so long as St. Clair can bring themselves back from the depths. I mean, I always want to say that, but Full Sail always seemingly find a way to keep every hardpoint interesting. Besides that map number 1 you see right there, an absolute blowout of Greenberg Hotel, 250 to 143. That said, I think that there's going to be an interesting look at for how the Saints might end up playing Crown Raceway comparatively to how they were playing in the Fortress. A little bit more difficult to find a lot more value, barring a handful of hardpoints on Crown Raceway with a submachine gun. It's really going to rely on your ARs and your flexes, and I honestly think that the biggest difference maker when we're taking a look at those longer lines of sights to keep everybody at bay. I'm actually looking at Priestley. He's really the only person out of these 8 players inside this lobby that's been pulling out the TAC 56, and not only just that, but finding a lot of value with it as well. That weapon at range can absolutely beam, and so long as you're just holding the irons and waiting for all of these SMGs and ARs to come jump chow you around a corner, I mean, Priestley just might rip them asunder, and that could be the difference maker in between 15 seconds to about 45.
Yeah, it's so fitting. I mean, for Crown Raceway, too. Vic, there's so many long-range gunfights where the TAC could certainly have that advantage versus that M4 that we've mainly only seen on the other side here for Full Sail. So very much a possibility. These two certainly go into battle here over and over again with each other. But, I mean, for Full Sail, I think that this could be good news moving into a map like this where I feel like you actually can be a little bit more slay-heavy, just kind of how the balance of the map works. As long as you're kind of watching some of your pinches, watching some of these flanks, you're making sure you have that close spawn. As long as you're slaying wave after wave, you really can find a lot of favor here. And, I mean, that's kind of what we've come to know for this Full Sail roster, at least against some of the other teams. Maybe they don't get away with it as easy against St. Clair, but this is the chance to be able to display it here once again and be that first team to potentially get us to a map number 5 and see a second search and destroy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least getting us to map number 4, at least on the day so far. I mean, like, hey,
right.
you got to tip it where you see it. But, you know, it's one of those things, again, that we talked about the pep and the step that was almost required for Full Sail, right? You know, you get completely ripped ablaze by losing that first hard point by about 100 points. You lose that round 11 because Nick doesn't check that one corner that Priestley's located at over by the A-Dom flag. So, I mean, you know, there are certain moments that were obviously winnable for Full Sail, and I'm sure that they'll probably agree with me if they go back and they rewatch Greenberg Hotel map number 1, that it was just a recipe for disaster, mostly the main ingredient being overextensions. But I honestly think that needs to be a continuance that we just saw the adaptation in between map 1 to map 3 for this Armada team. to fully understand where they need to be set up, making sure that there's no overextensions that are currently happening, so that way they can maintain control and presence in a lot of these different money hills.
It's going to be extremely important, man. Those fundamentals that we kind of keep alluding to here for Full Sail, they got to come back with it in back-to-back maps to see if they can maybe get us to the map 5. Players look like they are loading in, and we'll see if St. Clair can get their rematch up in that grand final, end it here. I'm sure that would be the easiest instead of going through to a map 5 and just having that reverse sweep in the back of your mind, right, Andy? No one wants to be in that spot here, but Full Sail certainly going to make them fight for it as we jump into it.
Also, just keep in mind as well, I mean, this is probably the biggest grueling of a warm-up match you could ever ask for, because who's waiting in Grand Finals is none other than your Vanguard champions of Northwood, Infinite, Bink, Dak, and K-Top. But you gotta get there first. Starting off, I suppose you can even point it to be the favored side. It would end up being St. Clair, but this 50-50 battle inside of this cocktail lounge is a absolute griller, can be a blender. Contested time for now.
Nice shout from Meathead over the top. Zeno also able to respond with 2 himself, and Priestley could actually keep the play alive with the help of Brandon. He's able to get one just off screen, and not a lot of time going over back and forth. Everyone's just kind of, you make the first move, I'm going to hold an iron here. And that just seems to be the situation at hand.
Here's Priestley again. I mean, the tack. You know, it's interesting as well. It's something we didn't end up talking about is the wallbang capabilities as well as the attack. That stopping power is gross, and there are certain areas on the map that you might see that come into play. But look at this coming through as well. I mean, Full Sail, albeit starting off on the favorite side of the map, they are being pressured out. They are trapped in the bottom right side of the corner.
Certainly are. Priestley on 3 in a row, though. He's going to turn this back, and that's going to be easy pickings there for Lavelle. Able to at least shut down one of the main ARs. Going to make it just a tad bit more difficult to break in. And you can just see it. Everyone just trying to play their life. You know, trying to do his best to also work on this spree. He is currently 7-1, 4 in a row, trying to break in. But here we go. Saints all collapsing around the point as the spawns now are out here for Full Sail.
Spawns are out. Late break is in. A very low-scoring affair as far as P2 is concerned, especially with Full Sail spawning on in. But that's just the early pressure for this hardpoint. You're not done assaulting this yet, by the way. I mean, you had one player that was left alive in there. It's Priestley. Probably not the guy that you want in there with the weapon of choice. But, hey, at the end of the day, Full Sail, they get the break back in. They'll maintain a very, very small lead ahead of this rotation over towards 3. This one can be an absolute blender if you don't zone properly in the middle of the white room.
Meathead. Oh, in a really bad spot, but Priestley just doesn't get the call out there. Maybe not sure exactly where he was, but it's going to keep kind of this initial play alive, but not before Brandon spots him out with a couple of bunny hops over the top of the window. Then also able to find himself a nice little kill, creating a little bit of space here through the outer lanes. Priestley moving back in. Beautiful bait and switching happening right now with the Saints.
And that's what you need if you want to get firm control of P3, but it's mixy, right? Because, I mean, Mystical just finds a timing through the white window and immediately just gets behind enemy lines for 2. I mean, St. Clair are probably sitting there just scratching their heads, wondering, like, well, how did he even get back there? Especially looking at where they were spawning at. You should have probably been aware, keeping your head on a swivel, and you were smack dab in the middle of the garage for this hardpoint. 60 points and counting on up here for Full Sail at the tail end of 3.
Oh, almost another snap coming in there, but quick trade for Meathead, who's going to lay down prone. 9 and 5 so far with the sub. Make it 10, 4 in a row. We've seen lots of sprees, but not a whole lot of streaks just yet. Almost able to get kill number 5, but Mystical going to seal that one away. And now we shift over once again, and always early zoning here for Mystical. This is great work being done, kind of laying some of this early groundwork, getting information on this push.
Look at how much zoning that they have. I mean, you got Nick with a Vaznev inside of the players' lounge, just waiting for everybody else just to come take that challenge. But Brandon just slipped the net. He actually gets behind enemy lines entirely, but he has so much work to do, runs out of bullets. Be able to get the better of Nick, who obviously had ample bullets inside of his magazine. So Full Sail will maintain these spawns for now. Their lead grows past 60. You
take a look at the spawn currently. Everyone going to have to try to work from the back and the side here for St. Clair. Have to battle up top, and so far so good. Zeno able to find a couple of key kills. Maybe one more to ask for on the point, but it'll be traded. Priestley's there. Doesn't have any more ammo during the attack. Trophy system not going to be able to go down. Still one alive on the point. However, this is huge for the Saints. Big scrap time to secure.
It's at least scrap time that you're going to be able to put in towards your bank, but we really need to start seeing some more productivity from players like Brandon and Bendy to match that of the presence that is on the map of Meathead and Nick. 12 and 8, 13 and 7 respectively. That silence popped here from Meathead, trying to zone away this lane of the map. Gets one, but can't get away with his life, but it's a 2-for-1 trade. All that of which is favoring that of the Armada as they're set up again for another hard point.
Shots coming through from Lavelle. This is where you'll probably find Nick and Lavelle in the favorite element here through this outer street. Zeno also great control through mid, trying to work through white room, but it looks like the stick comes in. There's no getting out of that one. So far, Full Sail have just been very dominant in and around the point. 30 seconds left. Saints will be able to make their move, but can they hold? It looks like that's going to be a hard no. As everyone comes off spawn for Full Sail, and they just move back in with ease.
And Meathead for 2, that'll secure the scrap time for sure. As you take a look at where St. Clair is spawning all the way on the opposite side of the hard point, Bendy needs to go big, and he will deliver at least for 2, but can't get into the hard point with an off angle being held by Meathead. So we go towards the second set of hard points. It is an emphatic lead, to say the least, with that last few seconds being soaked up there with the final hard point of the first set. It is a 102-point lead that the Armada hold over the Saints' head.
This is where everything has to change here for the Saints. We need to see a great opening P1 hill, and so that they can start to chain together some of these points. A lot harder said than done. See if they can do it. Meathead with 5. Still trying to earn some streaks. Will be shut down. Mystical and Nick, though, able to get in. Not before Brandon holds the line here. Still 2 more members. The trades are great. This is what we've been missing. St. Clair, hold on.
You got to be careful here if you are Full Sail, though. I mean, look at where they're all just kind of reeling in towards this A lane, right, Austin? You got to be careful with the overextension. Where are you spawning if you are St. Clair? They actually get the better spawns going in towards P2, and Priestley is locking down the lounge, just getting on themselves on a 5 spree. Kill number 6 in front of them. Benny will yoink it away. So no streaks quite yet, but close spawns fully in effect. The P1 to P2 rotation has been won for the time being for the Saints.
That is just an absolute massive hill. You needed a moment like that. Now, it's a matter of building off of it, and they've already been able to make some great map movements across the map. It is Brandon with a sub in the back here, so you're going to really need to rely on your AR pressure to kind of help you out. Watch this cross and stop them from getting in.
Setup is a close one, but look at how far away both Seno and Priestley are on the mini-map as well. They might actually have to push the pressure a little bit, and Priestley actually picks himself up of Vaznev, finds 2, but the battle inside the hardpoint goes that way of Mystical on a 3 spree. They have broken in.
Brandon needed that trade. Really needed that trade. Mystical gets some bad timing there. Seno gets back in for not 1, but 2 kills to open this hill right back up in St. Clair. They have turned a new leaf. They have completely changed around their gameplay. This is the St. Clair we're used to seeing. And Andy, they are right back in this game.
Well, it was a 100-point deficit at the end of the first set. Is now a mere 20, going to be 10, going in towards the middle of the map. The pace has been met. Priestley is still on a 7 spree, by the way. With 2 minutes of OBJ time, the guy is fully streaked out of his mind. Probably won't see any of those streaks being used to break inside of this hardpoint, but expect them in the later hardpoints for sure.
147 to 168, Full Sail Armada. I want to try to get all that time back right here in White Room. This is where they were pretty solid before. A lot of flanks they were covering, but Priestley on 8 is fully streaked out. He is ready to go. Can he get himself up to double digits? He is just starting to take over here on Crown Raceway. Now he slipped in with the sub. That's a great break to find the entry. Looking for now the second. He gets information onto Lavelle in the back. Trophy system down. Just got to slay out and try to stay alive. What a pre-fire from Priestley. A great read. Struggling to finish off the kill, but Bendy's there to find the double up.
9 spree, 2 minutes of OBJ time. Yeah, someone pick up the slack that Priestley has just left on the floor, and that is being met. The Saints have been bringing themselves back in this set of hardpoints specifically, and again, have diminished that 100-point lead now just down to about 10. Full Sail, they have to go all in for this rotation for the new hardpoint over on the backside of these buses. But look at the swarm that is starting to put itself together for St. Clair. They're in the back. You need to pop off in the hill.
All the kills come through. That is just such a big saving moment here. Lavelle, Meathead both winning those individual one-on-ones, and this is where things get a little bit scary here for St. Clair. You can only really get through with pure force and just brute force, but Meathead has now got Deddy Pop. He's ready to go rogue. This is where things can get dangerous. Meathead now 3 in a row, ready to cut off the rotators. He is just non-stop, ready to run and gun, and he's going to flank the entire play here potentially. Once the information comes through, he should find some more, but he's finally shut down, and the Saints actually find 3. Just need 1 more for the trade.
It's Lavelle, last alive on the hill. Team shots are going to be there. Priestley will take them down. 223 to 181. That was a massive hard point for Full Sail to at least extend their lead back to a similarity of what they saw at the end of the first set. And you look at the rotation going over towards the final hill in this rotation, Austin. This was such a big hill for Full Sail, and part of the reason why they had a 100-point lead at the end of the first.
It's so difficult to continue to ask for it, but the Saints now need to find a perfect break right here on the first attempt. Now struggling to kind of lock down a member, and that trade will come through. Priestley in the back. He's been the man we constantly talk about here on the Saints roster. And can he go big here again? 23 kills, 2 minutes and 23 seconds of hardpoint time. He's back in with the trophy down. Now it's time to slay out.
Tire racks are actually incredibly wall bangable. I'm not too sure whether Priestley knows that with attack or not, but it does not come through. Lovell, Mystical, they combine for 2. Look at the zoning on the minimap as well. Nick has been pushed up. 249, 250. Nobody from St. Clair can get there in time. Meanwhile, get ourselves a 2-map win count there for Full Sail, which you know what it means, Austin. We got ourselves a map 5.
First map 5 of the weekend, baby. Let's go. And it comes by potential reverse sweep fashion here if Full Sail can keep this going. But, I mean, just what a crazy turnaround these last couple hardpoint maps that we have seen out of this squad. I mean, we just go back to map 1, and we had said it, right? There was fundamentals lacking, you know, this constant slaying pressure of, you know, ego challenging and just completely outslaying your opponent was working previously, but up against the Saints, it finally got shut down. Up until this point, where you're starting to see the teamwork come into play, you're starting to find Meathead kind of back in that groove again here, Andy, and everything is just coming together beautifully.
I think it's legitimately part of the reason why we got to see just so much explosive play coming through from the Albagra Fortress map 3, and then obviously the Crown Raceway map number 4, is because Meathead has, I mean, he's found that pep in his step, right? I mean, when an SMG is feeling himself like that, and he's just flying through all the different fixtures, no matter the map, it's going to be increasingly difficult for you to even feel comfort to try to set up break attempts for a lot of these hard points. It always felt like that St. Clair were seemingly just lacking numbers when it came down to breaking the hard points. Why? Because Meathead was either on the flank or Nick was pushing the line of scrimmage that much further forward. A lot more proactive and yet stronger in the fundamentals in the past 2 hard points, specifically out of Full Sail.
Well, boy, oh boy. We'll take a look at the scoreboard here and see exactly what was happening. I mean, that was, as much as, you know, the Saints lose this, like, Priestley just absolutely did it all. I mean, like, look at this. 11 objective kills with attack in hand. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 23 kills. I know this is not the team that has won, but Priestley certainly, you know, deserves all of the gas just based off of what he was able to do. The opposite end, though, I mean, you can see it. Mystical getting more involved. Nick here as well. This is what we were missing throughout kind of those map 1s, and everybody's also getting on the hardpoint time as well for Full Sail, which was something we were really only getting out of Mystical from previous hardpoints.
Yeah, it always felt like that the Saints' plan of attack was trying to get Priestley obviously inside of the OBJ with their tack, and obviously was in there for a decent amount of time. I mean, 2 minutes and 30 seconds is nothing to scoff at, but, you know, when you're trying to get your main AR in there with the TAC 56 and everybody else is just trying to roam around the hardpoint and they're not really coming up with an abundance of kills, I mean, that plan is all fine and dandy, but so long as you're not finding the kills and you're not staying alive, it doesn't mean anything. Priestley also went on a 9 spree, had streaks available as well, but didn't find value with it as well because they didn't have enough time when P5 did pop for them to pull it in because they were the only one up, thanks to Meathead's flanks that were manifesting through White Room, that he couldn't end up pulling out the SAE or even the cruise missile to try to break inside P5. Could have been the difference maker, but hey, that's what you get if you're Full Sail with the leader's advantage. Building yourself, walking away from P4, going in towards P5, they could just chalk it, rotate it, get set up at P5, and just close out the game there.
Well, ladies and gents, we only got one more map between these two Titans to see who ends up going up to that grand final. So for now, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we got map number 5 coming up after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It all comes down to this map right here in the lower final. The Saints have the opportunity to stop the reverse sweep. Maybe Full Sail will be able to fully pull it off. We'll have to see here, Andy. Either way, we know that a second S&D is coming. Well, the first S&D went round 11, so I'm very amped to see this one too.
Yeah, a lot of big counterplays being showcased there in our map number 2 of Mercado Las Almas, where we had a lot of cool bait plays coming through with the utility, specifically that from St. Clair Saints taking it in around 11, being very, very annoying, cheeky, with a lot of their different angles, holding different corners and such as well. But we move over towards Embassy. In this map mode combination specifically, I'm not too sure. I don't think that we've actually seen Full Sail on this map mode combination. No, we haven't, but we did end up seeing St. Clair versus Northwood in our winners finals match yesterday, Austin. Lose 6-4, but then they also beat UT Chattanooga in around 11 on this map set as well. Now, keep in mind, yesterday where they were playing with 2 substitutes, this time around playing with the full force of the St. Clair roster. So Priestley, sniper rifle. Sure, we'll probably see it. TAC 56 as well. All of these team shots and line of sights need to be talked about continuously when it comes down to that B bomb assault.
Actually, I'm really interested because you brought that up, because yesterday we really only saw Priestley with the M4 in his hand, like at all times. So I'm actually wondering if he'll try to maybe match Nick with it, or if they will maybe bring out a scope of their own, because it didn't really feel like there was many rounds where they ever had it out consistently. I think maybe they brought it out once, but for the most part, it really did feel like the sniper rifle was just not really there for them, and you almost are forced to deal with it when you have somebody like Nick, who is probably going to run it every single round without a doubt, and he is so effective with it. So to me, I think that's the biggest problem you have to solve, but either way, let's see how they solve it, Andy. We're jumping into map 5.
I saw the pistol secondary there from Nick, and yep, there it is. Red blood within the first 10 seconds. Oh, Nick. Oh, you say his name 3 times while you're staring at the meter in the mirror. He absolutely delivers that first blood, I'll tell you what.
It seems that way. Well, let's see what Meathead's going to be able to do from this position. They are actually able to get one back onto Lavelle, so that's going to open up a little bit of space out back. Meanwhile, Nick is still kind of watching that mid-cross, but now off-screen will hit a flank. Meathead is just going to have to kind of make a solo play here. I mean, there's only 30 seconds, and as soon as he does, then I was going to be able to find him no problem.
Oh, Nick. With that silence, yeah, he's going to make a lot of noise climbing up that ladder. Priestley's just, again, just lurking inside top PD. Mystical, 1v3 for the culture. Kind of needs to find all 3 of these kills right about now. And if you can tell by the canter of my voice, he's not finding all 3 kills right about now. He did find 1, so that's great. But this bomb is absolutely going to detonate. That would have been nasty if he actually snapped on all 3. I mean, okay. I already eat my words on that one. I mean, he was going to lose the round regardless. But yeah, it's Priestley in this exact position that we saw from Embassy 2 times from the St. Clair roster. He just loves to play in a post-plant situation. It is so hard to deal with Priestley in this position, unless it's going to be Meathead going for a very quick flank, the middle of the map, getting through the toilet window in bottom PD, or what you saw right there, Nick trying to hit the fast flank going up the ladder. No dead silence, so again, he was loud as all get out.
So first round is good. We wanted to know how they were going to kind of work around the sniper rifle, and well, the answer is just to kind of get up close and don't let Nick work too many angles, but see if he can try to work some angles either way. Meathead is able to get himself across. Stun's going to lock him up for a second, but Lavelle and Nick, they both find picks. And now this should be a free bomb site, pending Brandon doesn't do something special.
Brandon. Oh, the nade? Meathead?
Fudge.
Oh! This was it. That nade was a solid rare cooking temperature. 2 for 1 goes the trades, bomb being down. Numbers that in the favor of the offense.
See? Round the outside, round the outside. Won't be able to find the third. We'll see if they can try to work this. It is limited time. Nick does get shrugged off the angle. Still, have to work through 3 members here with about 20 seconds. Don't know if that's going to happen. It will not. That player sitting at the bottom of the staircase corner will be good for some back-to-back offenses here.
And you would assume, again, you know, both offensive teams finding value with quickly hitting tennis courts and going for that quick plant, that there's probably going to be some tactical changes, I'm sure. Maybe some smokes to clear some crosses and some SMGs getting up in your face. Stop that coming through. Also stuns, perhaps, coming over from top AC to stop those pesky bomb planters from getting over into that BS&D as quick as they can. Really will dissuade that fast plant, because the post plant over on the BS&D, so long as you have either Nick with the sniper rifle top PD or what was offered on the other side with Priestley and the M4, it becomes very, very difficult to try to counteract.
Nick's going to work a different angle here. Not sure if he worked this the first round or not, but it's, oh man, like, it is so entertaining watching this guy with a sniper rifle, Andy.
To answer your question, no, he was playing at Mystical's previous position over by the ramp, and, I mean, Brandon just didn't see him. Gets caught with dead silence, trying to bunny hop back around the corner back to safety. Now, Priestley, 1v4 for the ages would be massive, but he's just probably going to hold himself here in top PD, see if he can get any isolated challenges. But I tell you what, man, I mean, Nick is a human highlight reel with the sniper rifle. He's just constantly just changing positions, just always keeping you guessing.
It really is. Man, it's just so hard to work around as a player, especially with a sub, because if the ARs aren't gunning him, then you're basically just kind of, you know, left like a sitting duck at times. And, well, Nick, of course, he finds them right there as well. Has the cross back. Couple more kills will be added to the tally. And Full Sail makes some adaptations here to the defensive round and will be good to pull ahead by 1.
Lavelle was just probably conveying it. Yeah, he's still top PD, by the way, so Nick's like, all right, I'm just going to chill at top AC, just wait for him to chow through the window, because he's not getting towards this bomb and planting this rock. And I asked for some stuns, maybe some other nades to dissuade the fast plane over by B, but I suppose a sniper rifle will get the job done just as well.
St. Clair now going to have to really kind of see what they want to do. And, oh, I think I saw Priestley with the scope here. So they're going to try to answer it, match it, take out Nick. We'll see if who will win the battle. Just kind of a hard cross to the back right, and that will allow Meathead to get through. Trying to see if he can make something happen, but Cino's been able to hit the smoke, and we'll find the kill, and now that's bombed down right in front of B.
Yeah, immediately hits past all of tree as well, so this middle of the map is immediately being soaked up in the favor of the Saints. But you saw the sniper duel pop up in the kill feed. Priestley will go down. Quickly traded was Lavelle. Mystical Nick in a 2v3. They got to recover the bomb and try to extend the round.
Nick able to at least take the sniper out of the equation here. Mystical, I like this play. He's got a great chance to kind of, got a great chance. Okay, there we go, to get up top here. Maybe get behind enemy lines. That silence will run out, but it's at least got him to this position here. So everything kind of relies on Mystical making a play to open up this site.
It's just going to take so much time for him to crab walk his way over towards top AC. Then I was just posted up inside the toilets, having himself a little wee break. Mystical. Oh, so long as he keeps coming around on the right side, door might just open. Nick falls. Mystical trying to extend the play. Here's the door open. Going to be Bendy down low in orange. That will shrug Mystical away from the bomb. The final kill will be coming through, and the Saints will get the bounce back that they needed to keep things all square.
I love that setup, you know, just two players kind of inside this stairwell here. Brandon was up top, one was down low, just kind of playing for the trade. He might have had information that the bomb was also probably down, but I mean, that's also another way you can kind of work out the sniper, just try to get some early aggression, try to use those subs to get into PD and really just keep you guessing, and it ends up working out. But see, I'm actually curious if Priestley will keep the sniper out and maybe try to continue to match Nick or not.
I feel like if you're not going to try to force out the smokes and try to dissuade the line of sights that Nick is currently holding, then you almost have to match it. But it seems that Priestley going to go back to this very quick B bomb plant. Question is, where is Nick? Well, he's actually all the way on top AC, and Seno just hits the route immediately on the backside of the tennis court for first blood.
Seno, stun up top, not actually going to hit that player. This one will hit Meathead, though, so they should know he's close around bathrooms for sure. Still a 3 versus 3, however. And you're going to have to make a move over to try to grab that bomb on the far side of tennis court. Maybe in the best location if someone's able to get any kind of line of sight over this B-bomb.
Brandon looking to make the play, though. Won't find much of anything. And I love this discipline that's being exemplified out of Full Sail. You got one player that's posted up in PD. Mystical's just back here on the ramp trying to convey the information on who's crossing, because who's on the other side of tennis courts? Well, it's Nick. And you know damn well he's got the boomstick in hand.
Meathead, I think he's just trying to either look through this tiny little crack and see if someone passes by or just wait for someone to bust it open. Seno might be able to drop this bomb. Free spree for him. Meathead does get his wish, but Priestley doesn't give him the gift he wants. And now Nick is going to have to try to make something happen in the back, but the push comes to him, and it's all down to one. Mystical, 1v3.
And it's a no v3 at that point. Immediately just tries to come past the tree and walks right into a crossfire. And the timing has been absolutely fantastic. I feel like the only way, Austin, you're going to get Priestley out of PD is if you beam him from top AC, or you just win the gunfight outright by rushing him. And rushing him outright has not worked 2 times over when he is set up inside top PD. I mean, he is the captain of that police station. You are not getting him out easily.
It really is. And I mean, there's just so many corners and like tables, and it's just like, oh, you want to get him out of the spot, but man, is it ever difficult at times. And so far, Priestley has held strong. Here we go. 4 in a row for Seno. Keep note of that. Streak's pretty important. Nick and his teammate are going to smoke this out. Oh, it's chaos. It's just chaos in the middle of the map, but Nick's able to track one. Mystical got the second. Brandon and Priestley now. Last one's left alive here for the Saints.
Oh, inside of the kitchen as well. Nick is just flying. Sniper, M4. How about a Vaznev in the hands of Nick? And Brandon probably just blinked, and all of his teammates have completely evaporated from this round. Doesn't even have a fun weapon to try to retake this with how long these line of sights are going to be.
Now position, of course, going to be known. Sub in hand, so pretty difficult to take this chow versus Nick, who is just kind of bobbing and weaving, playing with his food. Well, this should be easy cleanups here, I imagine. Pull the bell in the window. Nope, just damage kind of happening. Brandon's not going to get away with a kill here and won't have time to get the defuse. So ultimately, he'll get one. He'll try to make a move for two, but this will be another round here secured for Full Sail.
Gotta be careful here if you are Brandon. Do you want to sit on this 3 spree? Getting streaks on a map like Embassy, it could honestly be the difference maker as far as a round win is concerned, not to mention the information that could also come through, depending if he can get all the way to the SAE. So he'll just kind of concede the space, just sit up in top of that catwalk area, and allow the round to come all the way through. All square yet again, past round number 6. And it's just you're constantly going back and forth, the mental warfare against this Nick fella. Is he going to pull out a sniper rifle? Is he going to hit a fast flank if he has dead silence available with a Vaznev? Does he have an M4? I mean, this dude is literally just keeping the St. Clair Saints on their toes.
3-3. The battle continues here between St. Clair and Full Sail. Who will grab the swing round? Brandon able to get across. We mentioned the importance of earning streaks here. Trying to collect a couple more could be big. Brandon's going to hop up. He's going to actually, I think, get the trophy down there. And that could open up for a play to happen. He does have the bomb. It's a little risky. We'll see if Brandon can try to fly out here and make a play.
Gonna be careful when he opens up this peek on the door, but the information, who's it up top? It's gonna be able to immediately get that information. It's from Priestley, who gets flanked around by 2 different players. That's how you gotta do it. You're not gonna win the 1v1 top PD, so you might as well bring a friend to get Priestley out of that position. Really, we all was resting on the hands of Brandon to try to make this play, but information trade is everything in Search and Destroy. Full Sail piece together 2 rounds.
Yeah, truly the change they needed, without a doubt. I mean, finally dealing with Priestley up top, you could see 2 flank plays kind of unfolding on either side of the map. Just a matter of which one's going to kind of work first, which one's going to be faster. And it just tended to be a little bit faster there for Full Sail. Here we go. 8-3 right now for Mystical. He's having a hell of a game alongside Nick, who's also 8-4. We always say it, man hits double digits just about every Search and Destroy, and he's on par for that trend to continue. As the smoke comes through, Zeno has been great kind of working through this mid-map area, but it's a fast plant. They're going to drop it immediately.
Smoke will dissipate. Middle of the map, Zeno just has to hold this position. I'd just be waiting for Dead Silence before he fully commits towards this route, but Bendy's already hitting it. Dead Silence popped. He's behind enemy lines. That's a great first pick.
That's going to turn a lot of heads. Look at this. Everyone turns around to make sure it's not a second kill. But Meathead's able to deal with one. Brandon now going to try to fly out. He finds Meathead. It's all up to one. Mystical. He's been one of the better players, but they collapse. They break the setup, and Brandon will get the defuse.
You really got to tip your hat to Bendy if you are a fan of the Saints. It just immediately hits that silence. Nobody was even looking at that angle. Why is that? Because the smoke completely covered the crossover by the ramp. If you don't have somebody that's all the way in the backside of the parking lot of PD, you're going to be able to have the freest flank of your life. You can wait to pop Dead Silence until you're in about P2, and no one's going to hear you do so. The moment that you get behind enemy lines, completely muffled out footsteps, and you take down Nick, who was in a longer line of sight in their position with the sniper rifle, overwatching the entire top AC plus the bomb. Oh man, that setup gets completely blown open. Wonderfully done from the Saints to keep things, again, all square.
Just been such a treat watching these two play S&D versus each other. All the decider again for who moves up to that grand final versus Northwood. Round number 9. Brandon's able to get across, but it's not where the bomb is. Bendy takes the bomb this time. Mystical's gonna get caught. That's a beautiful play here. Patient play in the back. Now everyone just needs to survive, but Lavelle's able to get Priestley. Takes out a really big player here for the Saints.
But now you're kind of trapped because Brandon's normally the bomb carrier, and he's just resting on the S&D itself. So, I mean, now if you're taking a look at Bendy, where do you go from this position? Because there's no more smokes to cover this cross. You're basically waiting for anybody to throw a shoulder, and Nick's going to be obliged and just rips the head off of Seno.
Come on!
What?
You cannot chow this guy! Nick will shut you down! The only good news here for the Saints is that they have the bomb on Bendy, but Nick's already reading this play way ahead of time, and he's probably going to find the third.
What is this guy? I mean, he was aiming above the net on the tennis court. It just completely just snaps on a Seno, laying prone on the other side of the net. I mean, even if you try to fly and challenge this guy, you know, the easiest counterplay, apart from smoking out the line of sight for a sniper, is to get in his face, because if you can kind of break his camera a little bit, he's not going to hit that snipe, right? Well, Nick disagrees. 11-5 on a 3 spree is just putting on a master class clinic here. Search and Destroy Embassy with this boomstick up on map and series point, and finals on the line.
Full Sail looking to pull off the reverse sweep versus St. Clair here, as they're going to have to win this defensive round. You can just see how much further back they're kind of playing, how much respect they're showing. No risk to be taken, but Priestley will be spotted. Fortunately, Nick has a sub in hand, so not the easiest challenge to take. Stun check coming out. Brandon's going to eat it head on. His teammate as well right beside him is going to be Bendy. Shots are coming through, but he's going to backtrack. He backtracks, and everybody slows down.
Bendy might just find himself in a 1v1 versus Mystical long range. Now they know that Nick is over here by the ramp, and they have no idea that Bendy's over here. He is just waiting for the challenge. Now they'll know. Nick's going to pop up, and he's going to lose his life.
Run.
Oh, the van's already blown up. We're good, brother.
Vans are blown. You never know. So I was not sure. I've died too many times to that spot, but 4v3, St. Clair just have to hold on. Stop this bomb from being planted. There is limited time left. 25 seconds. Meathead has the bomb. He's the one that needs to initiate the play.
Oh, man, the blessings of Codcaster. Meathead's going to hear this ladder being climbed up by Priestley. No dead silence. Needs to down this rock to extend the round. Bendy's going to be really confused once he gets the earload that the bomb was planted over at A, and Meathead gets out.
Oh, they get out, and they're able to get inside. Mystical is going to drop, so Lavelle and Meathead got to hold on for a potential round 10 dub. They have the high ground. They have the advantage of just checking the bomb and trying to escape with their life, but now it's a 1v3 for Lavelle. He drops down. I think they've heard it. Are they going to line up? No! Shots are taken, but St. Clair, they are going to be able to play the retake successfully, and well, Andy, we're going to round 11, map 5.
Oh, it wouldn't be any other way for these two teams, just going back and forth. It started off with an absolute ripping of a hotel map number 1, where St. Clair looked to be the better team, but here in Search and Destroy, map number 2 went round 11 St. Clair's way on Mercado Las Almas. Here on Embassy, who honestly knows? Nick has been an absolute menace with the sniper rifle. Kind of gifted him that round with the Vaznev 9K. Didn't even have dead silence when that round started, Austin. So he was just kind of trapped over by ramp, losing their numbers very quickly. But Meathead tried to extend it the best way that they could. The Saints absolutely collapsed on their play. And the good old leave the bomb in spawn strategy. That's actually going to mess with the timing here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, it will. Look at all the shots coming through. Nick is going to dolphin dive across. Lavelle up top. Bobbin and weaving. Trophy system keeps him safe and sound. Meathead. Is he going to find this kill? No, Bendy takes him out. Tries to make the play in the back. It's going to cost him his life.
Yeah, Priestley's not alone inside PD. Bendy's still holding that stairwell. Mystical's going to pop that silence bomb planted at B.
4v3. 40 seconds to play retake, and Mystical's going to get shut down. He is spotted, and he's kind of forced to totally reposition, but you don't have a lot of time. And now it's down to 2. Mystical and Lavelle all down to 1. St. Clair have played the round 11 perfectly. Mystical has been great all game, but there's no 1v4 here, and St. Clair will shut down the reverse sweep, win the round 11, and get the rematch in the grand final.
Woo, man, I gotta tell you, I honestly had that going so many different ways as far as the round is concerned, but the moment I saw Nick with an M4 trying to get through the middle of the map, it was a bold call at that for Full Sail. You saw how that just played out. I mean, all 3 of the forward players for Full Sail all try to hit a timing through that ramp in the middle of the map. But again, like I was saying, the bomb actually got forgot in spawn, so that timing was not as good as Full Sail had once hoped, catching players on the cross towards the tennis court. They could have overwhelmed them if the bomb was picked up off the rip. But I mean, because it was ever so graciously forgotten in spawn, they were late towards hitting tennis courts. The other big adaptation was that Priestley was not alone inside PD this time around. He was just hanging out up top of the window, looking over towards top AC. It was a normal offensive round for Priestley, but the biggest player that made the adaptation was Bendy. He went over towards the stairwell, and he didn't move all around. And he got 3 challenges in the same exact spot. Found the 2 kills required, shut down the flank like you were talking about on a Mystical. Wonderfully played out for St. Clair, and they'll get the run back against Northwood.
They absolutely will. Man, oh man, it gets a little bit scary in the end. We think we almost get a reverse sweep, but what we do get is a map 5, and not only just any map 5, but one that goes the absolute distance, man. Just an incredible game played between both of these squads, but St. Clair, they edge out. We take a look at the scoreboard here. Branded huge with 9 and 5, 8 and 7 coming through for Bendy and Seno. and as well as Priestley doing exactly, what he needs to do in a lot of those situations, kind of play his life in the back. As much as he's not as active, he has a kind of a slower role to play, so to speak, in PD, and he played it well enough. But my goodness, Nick still continues that stat of putting up big plays with the sniper, but it is not enough. As you get Meathead kind of 4-7 here, Andy, and Lavelle 3-7.
It's just really that one round that kind of slipped away from Full Sail, that one round that they got a first blood, but weren't not able to capitalize on the round itself. They went 6-5 as far as first bloods are concerned versus St. Clair in that round 11 escapade on Embassy. As you take a look at the entire maps, I don't know what the 44-717 is, but it's kind of freaking me out.
It was a long match, dude.
It might be a code for something. I don't know. Sport blink twice if you're in trouble, but one of those things again that St. Clair. You talk about. And the word composure, to lose in an almost comeback fashion, that 14-point escapade on map number 3 for Albagra Fortress, and then to get the lights completely broken off of you on Crown Raceway, to really come back and just to play your game and win out around 11 against all odds, specifically that odd being young Nicholas for Full Sail Armada. I'm excited to see a lot more of that individual so long as he has a sniper in his hand. That dude is gross.
Oh, man. COD is not disappointed today. That's all I got to say, man. Championship Sunday. It's always fun. It's always spicy. And that's exactly what we get out of this series, going the distance. But now, St. Clair have a chance to try to keep this run going. They get the rematch up against Northwood in that grand final, but they would have to do it in 2 best-of-5. So they're going to have to strap themselves in, get ready. They get map by map, series by series, but either way, what we do know is it's going to be incredible. We can't wait to see that rematch with the full squad of St. Clair this time around. But for now, guys, we got to throw it to a break. We got to set up that grand final lobby. Make sure you get your snacks, get your drinks. As we come back, we got to settle and see who is going to finish first here in the opening lodge tournament.